with all of the methods that you have come up with and worked on and developed and for yourself and other people, is there a favorite, an order that you like going in that you find is most effective?
I will start with 10 days of ear training in any language. I need to get those sounds in my ear before I have any shot at remembering anything. And so I just start there. There's no reason not to start there. So I start there. Um, like back in 2014, I had this like list of 625 words and I would start there and like, which is just kind of a very common list. Everyone needs the word for water. Everyone needs the word for like beer, usually is actually like the other liquid that people tend to use, like laptop. There's a bunch of words that are very, very common. And at that time I was starting with those. But in the decades since, I started moving really in the direction of personalization. There is this idea of words having life, like it links closely to this idea of this filter. They're the same thing, basically. There's just the flip of each other. Like if a word is filtered out, you can't remember it. If a word has life, you can remember it, and it's not filtered out. But those filters have, there's levels to them. There's 4 filters, basically. There's a filter about, just trying to remember abstract spellings and like random characters. I have a random string of letters and it's my email password. Like that stuff's crazy hard to remember. That's filtered out right at the start. I give you some sounds, mognog, and I don't tell you what they mean. Like that's pretty meaningless to you, and because you don't actually know what it means, and so that thing's gonna get filtered out. But you'll keep twice as many of them as you will like random email passwords. When I give you a word and you really know and feel what it means, and the trick for that is to use images. And so I say kutya, and I show you a picture of a bunch of kutyak, and they're a bunch of dogs, but they're like Hungarian dogs. You just like, this isn't quite the same dogs as I would be familiar with. They're like a little kind of more like not as many purebreds. It's just a bunch of little mutts and stuff. And you're like, okay, kutyak, I get it. So this is kutya. Now words have meaning. That's the life barrier. Like suddenly this thing is real. And so when words have images, now they're actually memorable. And so you'll remember twice as many words with images as you will that just start just translations or random sets of sounds that you don't really care what the meaning is. Like, basically any kind of translation work lives at that second filter, that sound filter of just like, this doesn't mean much to me, so I'm just going to remember the sound. Anything with an image, that one you'll remember twice as well. So that's the point where you're really starting to retain stuff. But if you can get one level further and make it personal, and so instead of, kutya looks like just some dogs, but instead kutya looks like my dog. And you're maybe learning it in the context of a sentence like a kutya Norbert, where you're like, this is this dog's name is Norbert, this dog is Norbert. That will be remembered about 50 to 100% more than just the images alone. And so at that point, you're like 4 times more memorable than translations. And so between 2014 and now, my focus has drifted a lot towards, how much can I make personal? Can I have every sentence be about my life? Can I never learn a word without some connection to a memory I already have or something that matters to me? Like, can I just make literally every single sentence be meaningful and like about me or about my friends or about something that I actually would say in real life? And what I found was, yeah, that thing works. Like those filters are they're no joke. You remember them easily 50%, most of the time 100% better than even just images. And so what I've been doing when I start out a language is, instead of going for this 625 word list of very common things and learning my waters and my whatever, like I'll get to those eventually, and I'll learn them in real sentences of being like, this is my water bottle, and like I care about water, and here's the word for bottle. But before even that, I'll pick a topic or two that I'm just super passionate about. For Japanese, I love sushi. I love eating. I went to Japan a few times. Like it was all food. I love finding new foods to eat. Japan is heaven for food. And so I just started talking about sushi. I was like, I want to learn everything I can learn about sushi. And actually, at that time, I was trying to throw kitchen sink at Japanese, because it was so hard of a language. And I was learning it in VR, and we like built a sushi restaurant. And we like walked through the sushi restaurant with my tutor in VR and like pointed at things. And we're like, how do I order? I want to order this thing. How do I order this? And so picking a topic or two that you just love, that everything is not just a thing you can make a sentence for, but that you want to make a sentence for because you're like, holy shit, this is my favorite thing in the world. That allows you to get like some level of fluency, even dumb fluency, of just like this salmon roll, salmon, this tuna eat, I eat tuna, like just like 2-word sentences. Where you start developing some like, oh, I actually can talk about this thing. I care about this thing enough that I could talk about it. And the second you're not talking about sushi, you're a mess and you don't know a damn thing. And that's fine. But you build this island, I call it. And then you build a second island of something else you're super passionate about. And suddenly you have these 2 little spikes that are like floating above the surface where you're like, I can talk about sushi all day. Shitty sentences, stupid sentences, but I could use them and I could talk about it and I care about it. And I could talk about anime or something all day long. This one specific anime series that I really, really care about. I could talk about ninjas and Naruto, and I can just like really, really go for it. And suddenly you feel like you're capable and you know what capable feels like. And then, yeah, you can start building bridges between the islands and you can start learning all the common words, and that starts filling up the surface, and you start getting things that raise above the surface that are not just in your little islands. And you can maybe talk about your name or how are you doing or all the normal stuff that people begin a language with. But instead of beginning with, hi, how are you? My name is blah, blah, blah. You are beginning with, I can hold a real conversation about ordering sushi because I actually want that. Like it's a thing I care about. And so I like that trajectory because you're always interested. And language is such a marathon. You cannot sprint your way through a language. That if you can't maintain your interest and feel like you are accomplishing things from day to day, then how are you supposed to keep going into month 3 and month 5 and year 2 and year 4? Like, that's just too hard.
If you enjoyed that clip with Gabe and you want to enjoy even more, YouTube has come up with the best video for you to watch. I have no idea what it is, but it's going to put it around about here.